I work with a group called Long Island Traditions, which is run by a lady named Nancy Solomon, who suggested that I apply to Fisher Poets. Um, and it was because of this poem. And this poem was written as a personal response to what I call the Finding Nemo effect, which I found in the educational maritime program I do with that organization. We often go to elementary schools, mostly with fourth graders, and I present tables full of live specimens of what I'm catching at the time. Usually, I'm digging clams in Mauritius Bay here on Long Island, and I have live spider crabs and calico crabs, blue claw crabs, sometimes fish. And they always ask, are they in pain? Are they going to die? And then I say, you've all seen the movie, the cartoon Finding Nemo. What's that about? And it's about, they say it's about a father fish whose little son has been lost, and he gathers a bunch of big fish together to try and find him. And of course, at the end, the commercial fishermen are the bad guys. They have him captive on their boat. And then I say to them, but in real life, and usually the water is not only a few blocks away on Long Island, what's going on right out there right now when bigger fish are getting together to try and find little fish? Why are they doing that? And they think for a minute, and then there's the collective response, because they want to eat them. And I say, that's right. That's what's going on all the time under the water. It's all about food. Everything's eating everything else all the time. And I tell them, if you've ever seen a film of, or actually in life, seen a feeding frenzy, well, you got big fish feeding on little fish, and they have the birds feeding on the pieces of the little fish, and there are crabs and shrimp underneath feeding on the pieces that fall. And if I go out there with my little boat and my little net and catch some of the bigger fish and take them home, because people want to eat them, I'm not changing the life of the water at all. It's all about that everything's eating everything else all the time, and we have to eat too. So Nancy asked me if maybe I could write a poem, because she knew I write songs. And she was doing a little poetry exposition of one of our programs, I think at a local library. So I came up with this one. And it's called At Work in the Garden of Eat and Be Eaten. On dry land, nothing's moving yet, still dark and cold. But in the watery fields, the feasting continues. Bluefish dart like lightning in and out of the pods of bunkers that themselves still strain the tiny swimming plankton, even as their brethren are themselves devoured. Spider crabs wait for the pieces to fall, and then crawl through the waving eelgrace into my waiting net for what they think is another free meal. The big bass know, but they've had their fill of the finny, shiny, and oily delights. Another aroma draws them in. The spiders are shedding now, it being early autumn, and the still soft ones are like warm buttered muffins right out of the oven to these bright-eyed and stealthy hunters. The fish that hit early on in the night have attracted a bevy of crustaceans to my webbing, there to return the favor. We who trek the land with our shod feet don't face the constant threat of being eaten alive by our larger neighbors, at least not literally. We don't rationally worry that bugs and birds will peck us apart if we sleep a bit too soundly. And so we consume ourselves with these irrational fears, like the impending collapse of life on Earth brought on by the likes of my little gillnet boat. More sensible parents wonder what to put on the dinner table. Prudent chefs wonder what they'll find at their seafood supplier, the Grace of Specials card tonight. And if I get in early, my wonderful bluefish or weakfish or bass might be the prey that answers their prayers. But at this point in my own journey, the hardest work of the day comes first. The roughest leg of the day's excursion is the trip from the bed to the floor. Raisin bran, weather websites, and a cup of hot tea. A prayer for a safe and successful morning, and I'm off to witness another sunrise over the Garden of Eden be eaten. So that's by me, Charles F. Tekula Jr. Hope you like it.